Figma just dropped some absolutely massive updates, and they're not just tweaking things around the edges. Nope. They're aiming to completely change the way we develop products from start to finish. So, we're going to break down exactly what they announced, and more importantly, what it all means for how we design and build. Let's dive in. Okay, let's be real. Does this look familiar to you? You're designing in one window, but you've got your project management tool open in another, your developer tickets in a third, and a CMS in a fourth. It's chaotic. This fragmentation is a huge pain point for almost everyone, and it's the exact problem Figma is now trying to solve head-on. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at how Figma is trying to connect design to the real world. Then, we'll get into some new tools for handling those really complex multi-brand systems. After that, we'll see how they're bridging the gap from a design file to an actual live website. And finally, we'll peek at the experimental AI that's weaving through it all, which really shows us where Figma is headed. First up, let's talk about a problem that's as old as digital design itself, working in a bubble, completely separate from all the project's context. The big idea here is to finally bring all that important stuff, the tickets, the research, the specs, right into the place where the design is actually happening. And their solution for this is a brand new feature called connectors. The name pretty much says it all, right? You can think of these as little bridges that pull live, up-to-date information from all your other tools directly into your Figma and FigJam files. And just look who they've partnered with right out of the gate. We're talking about the heavy hitters here. Jira, Notion, GitHub, Asana. This means you can literally pull in the actual developer ticket or the real project brief and have it live right next to your designs. Everything stays synced to the source of truth. The result here is, well, it's a huge deal for efficiency. No more working from outdated screenshots or constantly switching tabs to see if a requirement has changed. Your prototypes are now directly tied to the living, breathing project context. That means fewer mistakes and a way more accurate design process. Okay, so now your design is connected to reality. Great, but what's the next challenge? It's always scale, right? Especially if you're working in a big company. So let's see how Figma is taking on the massive complexity of multi-brand design systems. To tackle this, Figma has rolled out a bunch of new scaling tools. And the whole point of these is to help teams manage tons of different brands from a single design system without everything turning into a complete mess. So how are they actually doing it? Well, it mainly comes down to two key things: much better variable authoring and something called extended collections. To put it simply, this just gives your team way more precise control over all your design tokens and components, even across totally different brands. At the end of the day, for any team that's juggling multiple product lines or brand identities, this is a lifesaver. It means less duplicated work, and it's a much cleaner way to keep everything consistent no matter how big things get. It's all about making that complexity easy to manage. All right, now we get to what might be the most ambitious update of them all. This is about finally closing that massive gap between a beautiful finished design and a real live website that people can actually visit. Meet Sites CMS. It's a brand new feature, still in public beta, so it's early days, but it does exactly what it sounds like. It lets you publish websites directly from your Figma designs. No, really. And we're not just talking about super simple landing pages here. You can build out actual content-driven sites like blogs, portfolios, or even help centers. But here's the real game changer. You can update the words and pictures on the live site without ever having to go back and mess with the original Figma file. Think about what that means. It's a true separation of content and design. Your marketing team or your writers can manage all the content on their own on the live site, which frees up designers to design. This is a massive win for the whole team's workflow. All right, so we've connected our data, we've scaled our systems, and we've published our website. Now, let's talk about the magic layer that Figma is starting to weave through this entire process: AI. And Figma is being really clear about this. They don't see AI as just a tool to make things faster. They see it as a way to unlock completely new ways of thinking and creating. So what does this look like right now? Well, they're giving everyone early access to Google's incredibly powerful Gemini Pro model. For now, you can play around with it inside a creative little sandbox they're calling Figma Make. You know, a quote from Figma's announcement really nails the potential here. They said that for imaginative experiments, this is, quote, enormous. It's not just about automating boring tasks. It's about giving us a new partner for creative exploration. So let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. Because these four things we've talked about, connectors, the scaling tools, Site CMS, and the AI, They're not just a random list of new features. They are 4 pieces of a single, very deliberate strategy. And this right here is the new product lifecycle that Figma is building for us. It all starts when you bring in real-world context using connectors. Then you design for that massive scale with the new system tools. From there, you can publish a live site in a click with Site CMS. And threaded through every single step is an AI engine to supercharge the whole process. This all points to Figma's ultimate vision. The endgame isn't just to be the best design tool anymore. The goal is to become a single, intelligent platform that can handle the entire product lifecycle from that very first spark of an idea all the way to a published live product. Which leaves us with a really fascinating and maybe even a little scary question for the future. As these tools get more and more integrated, more and more powerful, what happens to our roles, to our workflows, to the very way we build things when our design tool truly aims to do everything?